Hey guys, welcome to my channel, The Choke Points. And in this video, we are going to talk about something not so interesting, but not so boring either. It's more like an update, okay? So stay with me because it's not gonna be a very long video. It's Thanksgiving over here. So we are just being lazy. Everyone is enjoying their time, and that's all it is. And happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody else and in your family. All right, guys. So let's get going. See, just a couple of days ago, I made a video about the peace plan, the Russia-Ukraine war peace plan or peace plan draft. The draft that was basically just discussed and then it was brought into paper, but nothing concrete. Okay, it was just, I would say, speculation. All right, in which draft the European Union basically mentioned that they want Russia back into G7. That's what they said. Okay. So the question now is that what exactly happened at that time, right? If Russia is going to join it, Russia is not going to join it, what exactly is going to happen? And lots of you made the comment saying that Russia should not join and this and that. Um, to your point, yes, maybe, maybe not. I'm not here for judgments, but finally, on this thing, President Vladimir Putin actually had put a nail in the coffin for good. Okay, and that's what we are going to talk about in this video. Please do like and subscribe. Let's get started. All right, let me share my screen real quick. Okay, and so what exactly happened? He just in one of his speeches he said that he said this, that thank God Russia is no longer part of G8, Putin. Since 2014, Russia has focused on strengthening its cooperation with the BRICS. BRICS now accounts for a larger share of the global economy than the G7. Okay, so what happened is that in that lecture speech, President Putin actually straight up he put a nail in the coffin. He said that Russia is, thank God, Russia is not part of G7 or G8. And then he went on to talk about BRICS, that like how Russia has focused on strengthening BRICS since 2014. For example, BRICS financial infrastructure, they have contributed into their payment system, they have contributed into NDB, they have contributed into CRA, the contingent reserve. Okay, then the energy corridors, right? Energy corridors, there are lots of energy corridors that are being worked on right now, and some are in actually some are functional. For example, Vladivostok Chennai corridor, INSTC. Then you have corridors between Russia and China. Then the Arctic, northwestern route. All these things are being worked on and they are under development. Okay, and then other the most important thing that Russia did is the trading in national currencies. That hey, if these people are not only going to put sanctions, they are going to rob us with our money, rob us of our money. Then hey, why not we just trade in the national currencies? And within same year in which European Union and US applied sanctions on Russia, Russians simply dumped the euro uh, from their reserve. Okay, they practically dumped it, and they started to ask the European Union to buy oil and gas in and other materials too in ruble. Then and then they've been involved with China and India and all to develop their own non-Western tech ecosystem, basically introducing lots of other things. For example, me payment system, then SPFS, then Huawei partnerships are there. Quite a few things are involved in this whole thing. Okay, so they are working on lots of things like this. And now we know that BRICS now account for what? BRICS now accounts for almost say 36 to 37%. It was, I think, last I checked was 39% around that, as far as purchasing power parity is concerned. And in nominal GDP, they are a little bit behind, but nominal GDP also, if you look into it, the nominal GDP is also very inflated. US nominal GDP is not actually $30 trillion. America's Actual GDP is 65% of what the GDP that is presented. Okay, so since US GDP is not exactly uh, 29 trillion dollars, all right, so and when you do the calculation 65% of it, then you find that it comes down to 18 or 19 trillion dollars. Okay, so US GDP, technically the productive GDP that is called, okay, so productive GDP is 19 trillion dollars. And for those who don't know, there are two things, GDP and NDP. Okay, you have to understand that gross domestic product and national domestic product. National domestic product is something, is national, is nominal domestic product, nominal, sorry, nominal domestic product is representative of the actual productive GDP. What does that mean? It means that, let's say you have certain amount of money, okay, then there has to be a return of investment from it, meaning that, like for example exports, or say some sort of infrastructure investment, which you know that is going to give you long term dividends, all right, those type of investments and those type of domestic products are called nominal domestic products. Okay, for emerging markets like Russia, India, China and all that, if you go look into it, then nominal GDP, NDP, is almost 90% plus of GDP. So, which means that, let's say if India's GDP, nominal GDP, let's say is uh, GDP is say 4.1 trillion dollars. So in NDP for India is will come down to 3.9 trillion dollars. Okay, same thing for China, 18 trillion dollar economy. So NDP is 17 trillion dollars. Russia's is 2.2 trillion dollar GDP. So it comes down to 2 trillion dollars. Okay, meaning that whatever government invests, government basically gets the very good return of investment. Okay, whereas America's GDP, if you do that, then NDP is actually 65% of the GDP value, which is $29 trillion. So 65% of it comes down to $19 trillion, meaning that America's economy technically is close to China's economy. It's not too big. It's not bigger than China's economy. Okay, considering all things, meaning that China's manufacturing power and military power and China's exports and all that. If you start to look into all that, then China, I think, is way ahead. Okay, so with all these things in mind, that's what President Putin said in his speech, and then finally he ended his speech saying that some breakups are for the best. And now, with all these things, he is basically saying that uh, BRICS is Russia's economic lifeline. Okay, and the China is biggest trading partner, and China is biggest trading partner for a reason. All right, I tell you few things here. China is biggest trading partner for Russia for two reasons. Number one reason is that China and Russia, they both share the same principle as far as international trade is concerned and anything else is concerned, meaning that they both want to de-dollarize and they want to trade in national currencies. They want a system that is not rule based international order, that is United Nations, that should be in United Nations, not some rule based international order. And I made a rule based international video as well. I have explained what exactly rule based international order is. So you may want to go check it out as well. So, so with China and Russia having the same ideology, so that's another reason why Russia and China is the biggest trading partner. And second is basically that Russians prefer one stop shop concept, meaning that have one country where you can go do all the trade from and you're done. So that you don't have to go hop here and hop there and do business shopping. Meaning that their business ideology or their trade system is completely opposite of what India does. Meaning that India system is that you have to hedge all the risks, whatever it is. They don't want all their eggs in one basket. Okay, So so now between India and Russia trade, this is why there are quite a few things that are happening behind the scenes, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. Okay. And that thing is that because is not Russia does not need lots of things that India actually supplies. Okay. So that's why Russia is helping India in signing the free trade agreements with uh, EU, Eurasian countries, the C5 countries. Okay. And there are a few other things that where India is involved in signing the free trade agreements as well, besides the C5. Okay. So those things are happening as well behind the scenes. All right. So so that's a good thing that Russia is not going to join G7 and COP become so that it becomes G8 or something. Was never going to make sense. Why would you wanna do something like that, right? So any sensible leader, of course, will not go and do that. So finally, it's good for lots of you who wanted this. You got it, and once again, Vladimir Putin, he said, thank God, Russia is no longer part of G8." So which definitely means that President Putin is, since he is visiting India on 5th of December. So I'm pretty sure that they are going to finalize lots of major trade deals, because India and Russia's their goal is to take this trade to $100 billion by 2030. Okay. And so this whole thing, meaning that within the BRICS bloc itself, you will see the trade volume is going to grow. There are still some hiccups uh, in India and China relations, but I don't know. I really don't know that if that's coming from the Chinese President Xi Jinping's cabinet or something. I think those certain things are happening because somebody's getting paid behind the scenes to do certain things to derail the India-China relations. Okay. Now, so the way I'm looking at it is that this whole thing is already headed in that direction, and I think that India is going to to actually surprise and shock the whole entire world next year in the BRICS summit. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Okay, there will be lots and lots of shocking things that are going to happen, and BRICS, I think BRICS 2026 and BRICS 2027 summit is going to be so busy that I think next year G20 people will forget about G20. Lots of these leaders are not even going to attend G20. Just watch. Okay. So, anyways, guys, so this is it for this video. Please do like and subscribe. And as usual, this was a short video. And if you learned something, please do like and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys in another video. Take care.